trying to race them hard because they had fresher tires. They were faster than me. I was trying to let Cody go on my outside, but as soon as he got to my outside, the car just snapped on me.
Yeah,
And
but
I
he had
tried
all
to.
day to miss you.
Hold on, boys.
Yep.
Hold on. We're going to have all kinds of time to talk about everything right here. Well, welcome to After the Flag. Here we are live on True Sim Productions. We've got a few drivers joining us, and along with BPL, we'll call him owner, even though he doesn't say he's the owner. He's just part of the admin league. And we've got Cody Heinzman, we've got Dalton Kilrow, we've got Dylan Banks, Mark Arthur, Tanner Marr, we've got Brian, the Soul Stealer, D's, Dustin Ping, and TBB, Taylor Butcher Benjamin. All right, guys, that car, she was not happy on that track, but some good racing nonetheless. Cody, you ended up putting the hurt on a lot of drivers there towards the end of the race, and I think a lot of it is, one, you had the race lead so you could kind of dictate what was going on out there. Two, you had found yourself on the same schedule, even though earlier on in the race Tanner and I were talking and you were off schedule with everybody else. So what at the end of the race was it that gave it to you?
I think at the end of the day, it was number one, having the clean air and being able to kind of run that line. I had Dylan behind me, and at this point, we've battled probably more than I battled anyone else in my whole sim racing career. It's just kind of worked out that way. But whenever I'm behind Dylan and we're battling, I always make sure, take care of his bumper, not get into him, don't door slam him, all that kind of stuff, because that's how I want to run people, and I know I can expect that in return as a result of that. So I was able to run the defensive line, kind of stay on the bottom, use that clean air to my advantage. And as the run went on, Dylan's got to try everything he can to try to get to my bumper. That's going to burn his tires up, and then I can just kind of take advantage of that offset the longer we ran.
That's kind of exactly what we saw happen, Chris. Like the way he explained it, that's the way I saw it from the booth too. Yeah. Dylan had to chase him down and tried to make the passes, wore out his tires, and then Dylan was on skates for, I think he said in his interview, last 5 laps. So
it won't last 5 laps. Yeah, it was more like 20.
Yeah, it was more than that, Tanner, and we called it in the booth. I mean, that car was pissed off. It was not happy. The rear end of that thing, Dylan. I mean, I don't know how you held on to, or I don't know how you held on to the thing, dude, because
it was wicked.
It was wicked. You could see it. I mean, you could honestly to God see it. The rear end of that car had no grip whatsoever. So good on you for muscling that thing in for a second spot. Congratulations.
He took the swig of the Coke like he was sponsored, by the way. Right whenever you started interviewing him, I'm almost positive. Yeah, I think the label. I think the label was even showing when he drank it. We had to rotate back and look, but
I've been drinking moving all night, boys. I don't know.
Moving on, where are we going next, Chris?
Who you want to? Our third place finisher, fellow podium finisher. Go ahead, Tanner.
Brian Dees.
Yeah, that's Brian Dees. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to think for a second. I couldn't remember who finished third. Brian Dees.
I know you're not used to seeing me out there.
Oh, knock it off. We talked about it on the broadcast, and I'm just going to say straight up, I feel like I've disrespected you this season, and I don't even mean to do it, right? You just fly under the radar. You're secretly and sneakily always inside the top 10. We talked about it on broadcast tonight. That's what Chris said tonight. So, third place finish here tonight at New Hampshire. A little bit of misfortune throughout the field, but you kept a clean race. That's the most important thing. 0X.
Racing in New Hampshire?
Milwaukee Mile.
Somewhere else.
Yeah, Milwaukee Mile. Same track, different layout.
Finished third.
It's definitely a similar track. I was actually thinking at the end of the race. I don't know if you guys remember New Hampshire, but I think I was the faster car battling Jamie. On the last lap, I got loose and just crushed the wall and finished down the order somewhere.
Right.
Tonight it was kind of the reverse. Me and Jamie battling again, and I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, oh man, the last time this happened, track just like this, New Hampshire, got loose, and then all of a sudden he's spinning out in front of me and smacking the wall. All I was thinking was, Well, first thing I was thinking was the Zero X. Second thing I was thinking is Tanner better remember this from the power rankings this week.
Oh, stop crying for yourself, you penis.
I'm gonna say that Tanner and I have spoken, and I am pretty sure. Now, this is all Tanner's deal, but I'm pretty sure that the power rankings are going to take a huge shuffle here this week.
I was talking to Cody and Dylan after the race a little bit in chat, and I was telling them this power rankings this season. I think I've been playing a little bit of the hokey pokey or something. Like 1 week I'm in, next week I fall out, next week in.
You're not the only one. There's a few drivers back and forth.
Yep.
It's just week to week.
It's that kind of season with BPO.
Yeah,
I feel it's so competitive. Like anybody has a shot to be top 5, top 3, win. You know.
So
I think third back at the last 5 weeks. I think we can say third back anybody can hit. But honest to God, top 2, you're looking at them, boys. It is Cody Heinzman and Dylan Banks over there. And
they're here. I mean, they're here. They're here.
You know, you guys, as the elder statesmen of the league, really are going to need to step up your game to see what you can do against these two, because they're kicking your butts.
Yeah, y'all need to put a stop to this bullshit here.
You think some of us ain't trying?
You noticed that too?
I may have noticed a time or two. And Dalton, what are you going to do? You had
stop
a fast
spinning
car
it out of the
tonight.
corner.
You had a very fast car tonight.
You had a good car. Good car.
Story of my life, fast car, and then I throw it away, stepping on it too hard.
Right there with you, bro.
Yep.
So transition from that over to Mark. Mark, you qualified terrible because I think, what was it, Chris? He wrecked on his second lap.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where I think 21st actually where you started at. But you were actually one of the few that could actually go back there and make passes. And I think you got up to 7 or something like that. And then what happened?
Did durability test on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And,
the wall won?
Worked. Yeah, it works. It's good.
Wall's pretty solid. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's good. Test successful.
All right, and I know there was a little bit of beef mid-race. I can only hear pieces of it, right? 'Cause y'all are quiet.
Yeah.
We when you got in here, we started talking about it a little bit. And what I said, I don't want to hear it. Just let me hear it for the show. So that's the first time ever hearing it. What happened tonight between you and your best bud?
Well, he got in the back of his own doing, right? He ran into the back of Dylan, right? So he could have missed Dylan, I think, but he ran into the back of him. So he made a mistake there too. And then he was back there, and Dylan had passed me, and then Jason Bauer was in front of Dylan, and he was slow as all get out. Dylan can tell you that. It was like,
I tried to avoid him. I'm like, oh my God.
Dylan tries to avoid him. I'm trying to avoid Dylan. So we're all going down to go up underneath the Jason. Well, Chris was behind me. He could have been more patient, but of course he isn't. He's in the back. He was got to go to the front, and just threw it in there, and we're 4 wide. What the hell does he expect? So
I saw 3.
With Jason Bauer, it was 4.
It was 4 wide. We talked about that.
We called it on the broadcast.
And the other thing too, here's the deal, right? Is I fully expect if you guys go back and watch the broadcast, or if you go back and watch the replay on your own computers, that's fine. But yeah, Chris was in the wrong to call anybody out. He was on the far inside. Mark, you had no place to go. You got kind of pushed down. Yeah, you had no choice. It was either that or it was going to be a much bigger wreck than it ended up being. Now,
if I was going to wreck him on purpose, I can tell him straight up, it ain't going to be just a spin, right? I mean, he's going to be destroyed if I wreck him on purpose. So I don't do that. I get mad, but I get over it. Like 5-10 minutes, I'm over it, right? I'm not going to go out there and I'll race you hard. I'm going to race him hard as hell. I guarantee him that. But I'm never going to intentionally wreck him. That's not in my character to do that.
Right. So let's see. Corey asks, Mark, how's your Han device working? Your Han's device, is it working okay?
It better be, because I'd be dead if it wasn't.
Yeah.
That was a lick.
Yeah, that's been about the 50th lick. I feel.
Who
Doesn't matter. Every time I'm running good,
Tonight was the biggest dagger though for you because tonight was the best you've looked all season, besides maybe a plate track. You know,
it felt good, right? So I figured a little bit of stuff out, and I was doing good. And
Yeah, you
Seeing some
qualified for
glimpses of
shit.
the old Mark now.
yeah,
so now next week I believe is the All-Star race, correct?
it is.
Unfortunately.
At North Wilkesboro. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I hate that track.
you hate
I hate
Wilkesboro,
us
huh?
no points.
Yeah.
That's what I hate.
Well,
No,
I mean,
I think
it's
North
All-Star
Wilkesboro
race.
is going to bring on a pretty good race.
What'd you say? It's not for
And
points.
Yeah, that's what Dylan said. Dylan said he hates that it's not for points.
It's
But
for
go ahead,
money,
Chris.
though.
Yeah,
I don't
Well,
give a damn about the money. I want the points.
Well, hell, if he wins, he said give it to me.
right.
Okay,
We'll
there you
keep
go.
it cancel.
I think
I'm
there's a
almost
lot of
Goes
fun to
back the
have
league.
in an all-star race. I think there's a lot of fun to have.
It's a gimmick, dude. I mean, you can't take it too serious, really. Honestly.
You know where I'm gonna be all race? Fourth place. That's exactly where I'm gonna be all race.
It's
Yeah,
where I.
it
It's
sounds
the
like,
race
yeah,
I
you-
like to call
the
the
wheel's
most.
gonna land on you every time, Dylan.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
better than
Yeah.
being where I'll be, probably in the pits.
I love calling that race the most. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna start drinking like 2 hours before the race starts.
Oh, this is gonna be an amazing broadcast. I can
So
already
the
call
broadcast is gonna be perfect. Don't worry about that. Dustin Ping, how was your race tonight, buddy? DP,
Awful.
you
just
gotta
up
stop
and
with the
down.
awful.
As up and down.
Well, yeah, as
It's
DP often is, but you know, at
Oh,
the end of the
whoa.
day, it wasn't.
Wow, man. I let it go a few times. I couldn't let that last one go, man. I just
Oh,
couldn't.
wow.
It's getting weird.
I appreciate the puns you just did right then. Good job. Good job. I let the first one slide. Couldn't let the second one go. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Right.
Wow.
Go ahead, DP.
I just couldn't find any speed, honestly.
I mean, you were running up front for quite a bit of the race, but you
I
know,
just kept burning my right rear off.
yeah, and
Man,
I
you-
think that's a lot like what everybody
Got to
was
give him a
doing.
different nickname.
Look, it's
Hey,
not
we
my
already
fault.
have one person with the initials DP and Blazing Pedals, and
I
he don't
know.
even show up anymore. So
No,
I think we can take the nickname from him and hand it to the one that shows up.
Yeah, where's he been?
Asking
He
that
was
for
in
a
chat.
while.
He
We've
was in
been
chat
trying to
tonight.
figure out where he's been.
He's been watching. He's watched the last few broadcasts I've seen in chat.
Probably shoveling snow.
I think he's just enjoying time away from the sim because before he stopped showing up, he was getting wrecked like every race in
Right.
every league, and
Man.
he was just
Oh, we don't
he
care
was
about the other
he was
ones.
worse. Like his luck was worse than Mark's luck.
So I've got the finishing order up
oh.
right now, guys, and
Yeah, that's saying something, Mark.
you know,
Yeah.
I've got the top 13 up because I think it was just 13 cars, give or take, that were on the lead lap. Cody Heinzman, of course, is the race winner. Congratulations, Cody Heinzman, teammate, TNA Motorsports, love it. Dylan Banks
Thank you.
in second, Brian D's third, Dolan Kilrow. Look, but you had, you say you're a fourth place finish for the way your car was handling tonight.
Right. Right.
I wouldn't bitch about
Oh,
that too much.
I will gladly take it. I just hate the car.
Yeah. TVB, buddy, you finished in fifth. That's a pretty damn good run for you.
I do wanna
It's
throw out
sloppy
there.
though, but I'll
I
take
do
a
want to
top
throw out
five.
there
Yeah.
with TBB doing that on good old Race Chatter. That puts the fourth chair in the lead of the pick'em because I
Yeah.
picked TBB today. So
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
we
Three
talked
hours we
about
could
it.
do that.
Then
You
we
just
had,
you took the lead.
Yeah. Then we had DP Dustin Ping
Wow.
sixth, John
Mhm.
Perkins, who I'm sorry, out of all the drivers, John Perkins is going to get my Fighter of the Year award. That
Easily.
dude
Good
has
candidate for it.
unbelievable luck this season, and yet here he is, still finishing top tens. John Perkins, 7th place. Jamie Walker, who up until he wrecked this car, I think was scheduled for maybe
A podium. A
Looked like
podium.
third.
He was
he was definitely a
racing
podium
Dylan.
finisher. I think maybe Dylan. And this is no
Dylan
disrespect
was
to you,
struggling.
brother.
He was struggling.
But
Yeah.
I think Jamie had a faster car than you did at the end. Rick Thompson was 9th. Brian Zimmerman 10th. Chris Carroll 11th. Trevor Harmon, who I don't even know the last time I said his name, finishing 12th.
Been a while.
It's been a while.
Fellow TNA driver Philip Van Vliet finishes 13th here tonight. I mean,
Who finished last?
who finished last?
Yeah.
You want to know
me.
that?
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna look. I know the answer. It's Corey Sherman.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Corey.
Dylan knew that answer, by the way. I saw it.
Yeah,
He
Corey.
knew.
He had that little
Corey,
grin.
Come on, Corey. Reckon on the first lap. What are we doing?
It was after I promoted him on BPL too on the Facebook page. I shared his
Tanner the
POV.
Jinx.
Yeah,
I said if you want a real live POV, join this stream.
yeah,
And the minute I hit
joke.
share, I come back and I find out we're under yellow already, and Corey wrecked.
Yeah,
Oh, courtesy of the 10 car and knucklehead.
Man, that guy.
that guy. What Corey needs to do, I think, is look. He's posting quick times during practice. I think what he needs to do is back off a little bit during race. If he could back off a little bit, you can't win if you can't finish.
Right.
He just needs a force field around his car.
But honestly,
might-
what's
that
just,
might be
there's a few other drivers like that in here right now too. It seems like
Yeah.
that. I mean, they could be up there. They just gotta finish first.
Yeah, and then the drivers that are finishing, that aren't finishing first. Who are you pointing at, Dalton? You're killing.
I was pointing at Mark in reference to what Tanner was saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finish. I just gotta.
I mean, you need a force field around your car at this point
Yeah.
to not get caught up. in traffic.
He's the magnet on his car. Everybody and anybody.
I'm
It's
Larry
but-
Bell.
it's been a
last
weird
year.
type of season where it doesn't take much to take this car out, right? Drivers.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you hit it weird though, where you can pancake it and it doesn't drive any different. But then when you knock the front nose off it and bend the suspension, then that's when you got issues.
So we obviously all through practice and all through the race saw people breaking loose, self spinning. Was it just completely loose all around from entry point on in, or was it like a tight loose where you had so much wheel in it and it just would step out?
Yeah, it
For
was
me,
weird. Like
It,
right down
yeah,
in the middle, it would just get like a little.
It would just be random.
No, it was
Yeah.
like right in the middle of apex, like right after you
If
got
you
past
carry
apex,
just a
it
little
would-
too much speed on entry,
Yeah, it
would
would just
want to
wanna
kind of
just
step
snap
out just a
real quick.
little.
Yeah.
it was a
It could
weird
be-
mix of weird mix of the rear wanting to step out and then also just four-wheel slide at random times, and you just
Yeah.
didn't know which one to expect.
Well, in
And
the
remember
beginning, I
how-
was. Go ahead, Mark.
Remember how when they did some updates and those cars felt like they were like on a pole,
Yeah, it was like
thing, and the rear end would just like that. That's kind of how it felt to me.
that was like when they first came out. They were like stiff.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
Driving
unpredictable.
different every lap.
All right. Well, I look. I love the conversation that we're having. I just don't want guys talking over each other. But it's amazing to me that you do have some what I would call pretty talented drivers not able to get past lap one. So yeah, going back to Corey, if you overdrive the car, even if you're in mid pack on the start of the race, is there anything to be gained there, or should you just kind of let it go and relax for a
Single
minute
file out.
and,
Should just be
and
survival.
race it?
Slap one, bro. Just single file it out. Cut bait.
But
Race later.
that's what I was trying to do. The problem with this car is once you start to pick it up, it can just kick out from under you at any time. And once it starts to slide, you're just along for the ride pretty
But-
much. No saving the car. If you try to save it, that's what happens. You eat the wall.
But if the car is like that, these restarts have been crazy this season, and the starts have been crazy. If the car is that wicked, why are we 4 wide at New Hampshire? That's a huge question to ask. I know you said you were 4 wide and you wrecked. How'd y'all? I mean,
Track.
I think Tanner's on Mars
Milwaukee,
right now. 'Cause
yeah,
he's
no.
completely.
it's we never race Milwaukee ever. We always race New Hampshire. So I think of Milwaukee. I think of New Hampshire. I
I
can't
race
help it.
both.
No, I'm talking about CLR. We hardly ever race Milwaukee.
So that was a restart, right? And that's just, in my opinion, was impatience, right? We could have made it through
Bingo.
there, but I'm not even going to say who, right? We know who. I think he was just, I think had that been Dylan or had that been Cody or had that been Dalton, that might have ended up differently, right? But because it's me, I think he feels he might need to prove a point, so he throws it in there. Maybe not, but that's the way I feel, right?
do
Right,
think
I get it. I mean, I get that. I don't think.
Like he feels that I turned it down on him when I hope he went back and looked and saw that there was 3 other cars up there. You know.
I think there is something to be said, generally speaking, not about any one person, but when faster guys are back in the pack, I think that we collectively can give a little bit more when we are trying to make our way through the field, because I've been guilty of it. I mean, I took out Gordon Larson last week, getting into him on entry, just trying to get back up through the field, and I've seen countless other guys as well kind of going back through the field. I've heard it from my teammates and others who are running back there, just, you know, kind of being a little scared of everyone, just aggressively charging back up to the front, whether, you know, you lose track position from a pit or you get loose or whatever it is. I think there's a lot more give that can be had, I think, especially back in the pack.
And it's tough to do, right? Because in your mind, you're like, well, if I give too much and I take too much time, then those other guys I was just running with are stretching it way out on me.
Right.
But if I get too aggressive, then I'm going to get wrecked, and it's all for naught. But it's tough. It's a battle in your mind.
Well, I think that like tonight was track positions, everything. It really is. Especially the leader. If you got out in front in that clean air, you can save a little bit better than everybody else, make everybody else push and burn their stuff up. So, and on the restarts and all, I mean, it was just like it was today at Indy in real life. Is you gotta go.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. Track position seems to be way more important. And then getting off from schedule compared to the other drivers, it seems like you're really kind of I don't. What are you doing? You're kind of hoping for something to happen, and honestly, Cody, you had that happen to you tonight. You were in a position where you were not going to be able to finish the race on fuel, but you got lucky enough to have a caution come out.
That was
yeah,
huge.
that was a weird situation. I tell you what, I don't think I've ever had such a big heart drop moment. I mentioned that on the interview too. When we get that caution, and I'm like, surely I'm not the only one. Like, it was only 20 laps on the tires. Like, yeah, they were green, but surely staying out's a good call. Every single car behind me comes in. I thought that was it. I thought I was really close to diving back into the pit road the next time around, still under caution while it was still open. Just take my losses, go to the back of the field, because I thought it was going to be that bad.
I would have enjoyed that.
Rick did it. That's what Rick did.
The clean air was good, and the fall off wasn't that bad, or at least the line I was running, you know, made it more manageable, or whatever it was. But then, you know, we got a long enough run. The caution was perfect. Like, I knew I wasn't going to make it on fuel. My best bet was just go as long as I can, hope I can hold on to the track position. You know, if I get past, try to hold on a second, whatever it is. And if I can get that caution, then I'll be back on cycle, and it'll work out. So got lucky there, and then got lucky that we didn't get a caution, because that last run was what, like 45, 50 laps, something like that. So that whole time I'm just holding my breath about it.
Yeah, and the driver I really wanted to stop in tonight was Walker, but unfortunately, I think he was pretty dismayed at the end of it. Boy, he had a car at the end of this race. Cody, he wasn't going to touch you. I don't think anybody at the end of the race was going to touch you.
No,
but,
he was checked out.
You know, like D's, Banks, I think you guys might have been in trouble a little bit had Jamie not ran into the wall.
Yeah, for sure. I was doing everything I could to hold him off. I really was. I was dirt tracking around the whole track. I couldn't do nothing. I burned it up early trying to get past Cody because I had to go. There was no sitting behind him and waiting. I mean, I had to go.
I certainly enjoyed you fighting them, because I was starting to close back up after looping it for like the 5th time tonight.
I had a couple chances on Cody when he got loose a couple times off the exit, and I got to his outside a couple times. But it's so hard to pass on that, especially on the outside.
Right, he was never giving you the inside lane. Even down the front stretch, he'd go down. He was guarding that inside lane.
He knew if I got to the inside, I was
going through my mind
Yeah.
was Iowa the whole time, and how at Iowa I wanted nothing more than to just get the line I wanted, and Dylan
Right.
was just perfectly defending it. I was like, okay, I got my chance now. I got to try and defend this perfectly and keep my line. So it worked out, but yeah, that was a good battle.
Yep. It was awesome
Wow.
watching it.
So, next week is kind of like, I don't want to call it an off week because we have the All-Star race, but at the end of the day, we're gonna come back and we have some hard racing to do still to kind of wrap up the regular season. Guys, what is your well, I guess for the newcomers and for the veterans too, what is it going to take for you guys to kind of get there and at the end of the season and be a part of the championship run? We're going to go in order as opposed to my screen. So we're going to start with Cody first.
I think my biggest thing is I need to find the short run pace, which kind of qualifying is added into that as well. I need to get on the same level Dylan's at, because when it comes to the short run and the qualifying laps, that's usually somewhere where I can count on being second. So that's one thing I got to work on, and beyond that, I think it's game on.
Dalton?
Honestly, just gotta keep the car clean and keep having good runs and just not let the bad luck from the start of the season start creeping back in, and just keep making good calls and don't screw up.
All right, then. We'll see you then.
Dylan?
Oh man, I'm sorry. I thought he was about to say I hate it if we could change these cars.
Oh, I mean, I've already brought that up before, and it got shot down like a fighter pilot. So I mean,
I don't know why. I don't know why. These are honestly the best cars. They really are.
Stop it. Stop it.
You misspelled worst.
Oh man, but I think the biggest thing for me, points. I gotta to be in the championship 4. I gotta make it in the playoffs. So I'm fighting and clawing my way to get everything I can. I didn't come here to finish second. I came here to get wins. And at the end of the day, I want wins.
well,
So-
you're already 22nd, 130 points behind the cut.
130.
So I think you're doing good.
Yeah, but you never know. Anything can happen. All it takes is me to mess up one race, and there it goes. Poof. So just try to be consistent. Get as much as I can out of every race. Get as much stage points as I can. And try to make the top 16. So see how it goes.
So, Mark, right now, you're kind of on the precipice. I think right now, and I know you guys are working on the points right now, but I think right now you're sitting outside looking in on the top 16. What's going through your head?
Most of the time, the windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
fair.
know. It's
Come
gonna
on,
take,
Mark. Come on, Mark. Say it. Come on. We're waiting on it. We're waiting on it.
fucking sucks.
Trending.
Trending.
It's gonna take an act of God to get me even into the playoffs. Like I said, I'm going on a cruise toward the end of the regular season, so I'll miss 2 races for sure. So I definitely won't make the playoffs, but I don't really
That's not
care
true.
because I don't
You
hate
still
this
make it.
car.
He'd have to have like a 60-point gap
Yeah.
to the cut
Right.
in order to be able to be comfortable taking
and
2
that's
races.
Hey.
off.
That's like 2 races to get there. So
Anything is possible. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
I mean,
thought-
we have
Under
seen
Mark.
glimpses of the old Mark again, and I'm not saying old Mark just because he's old. I'm saying old Mark from a couple years ago that was.
But the shoe did fit,
fighting
though.
top 5.
It did fit when you said "oh." So
When Mark come on, I thought he was about to say one or two things. I thought he was about to say these cars suck or
Yeah.
Chris Carroll sucks.
Well, hell, you got facts spilling the tea, man.
Soul Stealers.
I don't mind Chris Carroll. He just got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, Soul Stealer. What's it gonna take, bud?
Same thing that got me into the Final Four last year. Just consistency. Just picking up those points, keep picking them up, and keeping it
And-
up front as much as possible.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Don't
All right.
necessarily have to win every race, but Well, I don't. We don't have when in you're in
No.
No, that's
anymore.
gone.
I wish we did, but yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I
Yeah,
thought
me
so.
too.
So
But you don't have the safety. But you don't have the safety net of the big huge playoff points every round though.
Thanks, Mark.
So you'll get the well you will the first round. Like if you get a bunch of playoff points, you'll have it in the first round. But then after that, we go off playoffs only.
Yeah,
So,
kind of goes away.
that's what I'm saying. You got
Right.
every round you got 3 races. Consistency is going to be key.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. So between Dalton, Brian, and Taylor, you guys, I don't want to say that you don't have a good shot, but it kind of like week in, week out kind of thing. But you've been consistent. Taylor, you have been pretty darn consistent all season. Is that kind of the goal going forward?
Yeah, well, my problem is, qualifying. I keep qualifying like in the mid pack, like more often than not, and that's kind of contributing to me not getting as many stage points as I'd have liked. I mean, like even tonight, what was I like 14th, and even though I ended up with a top 5, I only got like 3 stage points out of the 2 stages, and that's kind of been a theme all year long. So if I'm gonna take it far in these playoffs, I gotta score more, and as well as like Brian said, just be consistent and keep the car clean and get 0 X's as well.
So what you're saying at this point is you really need to pick up your qualifying game.
Yep, and I mean, and just overall regular pace in general to hang with Cody and Dylan and Chris and the rest.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, like the 7th through 15th range, it's just ruthless. It's chaos out there. I mean, they're all right on top of each other.
Up for grabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be like that for the rest of the season. I don't think anything is going to change there, guys. It's 20 to 11 almost. We're going to call it here. I really appreciate you guys joining us here for After the Flag. Join us next week. It's an All-Star week. Who knows what's going to happen? It's all different next week, and then we get back into the regular season. But next week is going to be a fun run, I think. North Wilkesboro. Tanner, I know you had a little bit of a push on that.
I do. I got to just, not really just me, but we got just a little format we're going to have. It's going to be a gimmick, man. There's money up for grabs, yes, but we're going to be asking questions, sending people to the back that don't deserve to be sent to the back, from answering questions wrong, that sort of thing. But it's still going to be a race, nonetheless, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a
Make
lot
sure
of
to
fun.
tune in to watch.
Yeah, tune in right here live on True Sim Productions. Can't wait to bring you all the action. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. We will see you again next Sunday right around the 7 o'clock hour. And, man, it's going to be a good one. All-Star Race next weekend. We'll see you then.